Shalom everyone, welcome to another vlog by Danny the Digger, and this time returning to a site that I've already reviewed. I'm at the pools of Bet Chisda, a site that is known from the Gospel of John as a place where he performed a miracle, where he healed a sick person. John chapter 5. But this time I'm back at the site not because of this review by the Gospel of John, but because of a medieval tradition developed apparently in the days of the Crusaders that relates to Mary. Mary, the mother of Jesus. We just don't have enough information about her from the Gospels. We have a certain information about her origin in Nazareth, joining Jesus to Jerusalem, and then apparently staying with the community here. But what was her fate and what was her beginning? So in the previous chapter I reviewed the tradition developing that Mary eventually fell asleep. She didn't die, but she fell asleep. She looked so sound asleep they thought she was dead, but Jesus took her up to the heavens. And there is a site in the Kidron Valley called the Tomb of Mary that claims to be the very site where that happened in the days of the Crusaders. As it turned out, there was a giant church over it, and the tomb was within a cruciform shaped crypt, apparently all developed by Queen Melisenda, a very significant female figure, a queen from the time of the Crusaders. This site behind me, built right next to the pools of Bet Chisda and the Byzantine giant church that used to be over it, was added by the Crusaders, but it didn't relate anymore to the original event in the Gospel of John. It related to the Nativity of Mary. Let's see this. Okay, this very impressive church is one of the very few examples left of Crusader ecclesiastical architecture. It's a Romanesque style building that is fully intact. There aren't many examples of this. I have reviewed a similar story, a similar case in the village of Abu Ghosh, where the church didn't just last, but even its interior decorations were still presented and restored. Oh, here's my friend Ami. But we want to focus on this church and the tradition over here. Hey Ami! מה נשמע? No, like this. בסדר גמור. I'm vlogging, not now.
Good morning from Jerusalem. This is Danny Herman.
Hi.
The digger, right? So, Danny the digger. Boker Tov.
Amen. The reason that this site is relating to Mary is hinted, first of all, in the inscriptions on the top. Now, if you look at the details, I better step back a bit because there's a group singing inside. I don't want to disturb them and them to disturb me. But the church in general is a very typical classical Romanesque church. However, the reason that it lasted is because of Salah ad-Din reconquering Jerusalem on behalf of Islam, expelling the Crusaders. This church he did not demolish, he actually turned it into a madraseh, a religious Muslim school, and that is also what the inscription above the door is presenting to this day. However, in the 19th century, the Christian church reclaimed it. It's now Catholic possession of a certain order, and notice how they put above it, can you see it? The Crusader era inscription stating that this place really relates to, here we go, the mother of Mary, Santa Anna. You see? Let me try to place it. It just goes out of focus. Santa Anna. And why did they relate it all to Santa Anna? Because although archaeology shows us that there is actually clear archaeological evidence here relating to a miracle performed by Jesus, and according to the Gospel of John, I didn't say ignore it, but diminish it. There was a church over there, but they much more emphasize an apocryphal tradition that this area of the old city was where Mary came from. This was the home of Anna and Joachim, the parents of Mary. And the reason for claiming that this could have been the place is because it says that Joachim was a livestock merchant. He had goats and sheep. And right outside the alley here, if you turn left, you get to Lion's Gate. Lion's Gate, by Christian tradition, is identified with the gate through which the sheep were brought into the city, and some of the Christian sources even call it the pools of the lambs, Po Batika. Okay, you understand how such a tradition could have evolved, although I find it, I have to confess, a bit baseless, because I think Mary was a Galilean. Anyway, let's step inside in silence and appreciate the beautiful acoustics this site provides. Wasn't that beautiful? But focusing on the reason I'm here, look at this very interesting sculpture. It's showing a mother and a child, but this is not Mary and baby Jesus. This is baby Mary and mother Anna. And the crypt that claims to be over the place where Mary was born is downstairs. I'm sorry, the singing in that hall is just enchanting. The sound is just amazing. But beneath it, over here, is a small chapel, and the details in it are quite interesting. I admit, there's no archaeology, we just have the artwork. But let me zoom in and try to get the details. Okay, here you can see an icon, a Byzantine style icon, which is interesting by itself because we are in a Catholic church. But it's not Mary, Joseph, and Jesus. No. It reads, let me see if I can get my finger in the frame. This is Santa Anna, and this is Sant Joachim. So the baby is Mary. And the main artwork presented here is showing a similar concept. Wait, let me squeeze the camera through the bars. Maybe that will provide. Oh, wait, just a minute. Adjusting. Tilting. Okay, here we go. Okay, this again, very Byzantine style of icon, has some Greek to explain what is the scene. And the Greek above the guy there reads Ogenosion tis Theotokoi, the birth of the barrier of Christ. And this is quite interesting that the two figures, one seems to be in pain, maybe it's labor or her belly doesn't really show, is Agya Anna, and the person looks kind of young and dark, also dark skin, with funny little side hair. Maybe it's they're trying to show the peot, is again Agios Joachim. Okay, these are the parents of Mary, or the grandparents of Jesus, And below, this is even better. You can see a little family there, but it's not the Holy Family, not exactly. The women seated there holding a baby in her hand, and next to the baby it reads again, the barrier, the mother of Christ, of Theoi, of God actually. And therefore the person next, who looks remarkably like the person standing above, has to be Joachim again. And I don't know what kind of a board game they're playing, or what is the idea behind that funny looking table, but beneath it reads where this icon was made, Jerusalem, and I think I can read the meaning of the date next to it as 1984. Okay, so it's a Byzantine style artwork from the 1980s, and yet it is placed in a Catholic church, and it's all claiming to say this is where Mary came from. Isn't that a very interesting apocryphal tradition? Fresh flowers apparently are placed here every day. Let's get the camera out. And if you are not well versed enough in Greek and Byzantine style painting, it also reads it here in English and French. Nativity of Our Lady. Oh, it even says it comes from a Russian school. Et la Nativité de Notre Dame. Icône École Russe. Ha! Now, it turns out that although this is the main theme here, there's another wall painting here which is already reminding us what was the main role of Mary. She had a purpose in the heavenly plan, and that purpose is fulfilled in the images here. Here again you can see a birth, but this time the Mater Theoi is an adult, and the child is a boy whose name is Isus Christos, Jesus Christ. Here you can see, that's another interesting one, the mother and the grandmother bathing the child. Maybe there was a local tradition that this is when Jesus came to Jerusalem when he was 12 years old and the grandparents were still living here? I don't know. He looks kind of ageless, a baby but then mature face. I don't know what to make of it. And this, therefore, I can only assume, you know what, it could either be Joachim or Joseph. Yeah, probably Joseph, because he doesn't look like the guy at the other side. He looks in an old age, which is what we assume Joseph was. So what an interesting tradition. One of a few that I'm going to record from now on in Jerusalem relating to peripheral traditions that relate to the stories and the traditions of and around the New Testament. Now, of course, if there is a tradition maintained by the Catholics, you can be sure that the Greeks will want a piece of the action as well. And indeed, there is, right, let me just tilt it back. There is another tradition that relates to the nativity of Mary by the Greek Orthodox Church, but that ain't here. Because if the Catholics identify a certain spot, you can be sure the Greeks will make another spot. And their spot is just around the corner. Now, I was hoping to get that filmed as well, but the guy said they're just not opening it. But they will be in a week. So bear with me 1 week to complete the review of both sites relating to the Nativity of Mary, and that will be a nice completion of that session. What will be next? Wow, there are many additional traditions relating to Stephanos, relating to James. So make sure to hit subscribe, to hit like, and the alerts to get all the latest contents that I'm airing. I'm also fond of putting little posts and shorts that are showing daily life here in Jerusalem, including this rather annoying sound coming from the neighbors. The Temple Mount is just around the corner, and this is a reminder for all the Muslims, just in case you forgot, It's time for the third play. Can't even think with such sound. Amplified so much. Anyway, thank you all. Toda Rabba. I thank you those who are supporting me. This is so appreciated. Yes, some tourists have started coming back, but having a niche in private tours, I'm still waiting for them. If you are considering to come, yalla, now's the time. And for those who are thinking of supporting me, I do thank you already now. Toda Rabba. This is so appreciated and helps me get by and also improve and maintain my gear so I can keep filming. Thank you all. God bless you. Litraot.